Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. I am making my Battlebit video. I have been meaning to do this for a while, but I've honestly just been lazy. So I figure that later is better than never. And I have a few stream highlights that I want to upload, but I figured making an actual Battlebit video was probably a good thing to do first. There's a few good things and a few bad things that I want to say about the game, and I feel like people have probably heard all of what I'm going to say anyway and watched a million videos on BattleBit, but I just figured I would offer my perspective myself because I've been playing FPS games for like 20 years now, so I think that, over the years I've kind of noticed some good things and bad things about different games, but I'm going to kind of fire through them because I don't want this video to be terribly long, but I do have some thoughts. The first thing that I want to talk about is I think that the way that they've done the progression system is really good. I think that they have really kind of found a sweet spot. In the moment in the game, sometimes it feels like it's a bit much because it's like, oh, I want to use that gun, but it's so many levels away. But at the same time, objectively speaking, I think that it's actually at a really good pace because otherwise you would run through all the levels quickly and then it's like, what now? Like, what do I have to work towards, And then when people inevitably buy the game because of its popularity, they're not gonna have to struggle for long because, most of us are probably getting close to getting all the guns. I'm rank 115 currently. My one friend's rank 124, 125, so he's getting close to having all the guns, but I think that it offers in a lot of replayability to have something to continuously work for in levels and stuff like that. I think that the map design is really good, and I think that the flow of maps is really good. It's interesting when I play them because it seems like there's just an area for everybody. There's forest areas and, urban areas and open areas for snipers and vehicles and whatever, depending on the game mode that you're playing. And there's a lot of different types of maps. Like, I look at like Modern Warfare 2 that came out last year, and it's really annoying because it's all in the sand pretty much. Like, I get that it takes place where it takes place and that they're building it off the Warzone map, but like, I miss the COD that had so many different variations in maps, and BattleBit really did a really good job about that, I think. I think that the graphics are kind of perfect, really. In the 20 years that I've been playing FPS games, I would say that honestly, most people care more about a game's functionality and if it's fun over the fact of how it looks. And I think that this game really kind of proves that point. Recent games in recent years, like the new Battlefield games, they look great, but the last two really have not been very good. So it's like, it doesn't matter how they look because they're just not really fun. So I think that that's a really important thing, that they've kind of captured that less is more valley, I guess I could call it. And I think that they've done a really good job with that. It doesn't overpower, it doesn't take a whole lot to run it, so a lot of systems can run it, and I think that that really, really helps. Which actually brings me into my next point of player count, being that we have the three modes of 127, 64, and 32. And I think that that's great because there's three separate sizes of player count that people can play in, but especially with the 127, I think that's why it can work, is because of the lower end graphics. There's not as much to render in, and I think that that works really well. But while I'm not a fan of 127 versus 127, I think it's a little too chaotic. I think it's cool that they did add it, even if it does feel to me like a vanity thing like Battlefield tried to do. But, it's interesting to see how well a game can execute something like that, and it works so well. And so I really have to commend them for that. They've done a really good job with that. I think that it's really, really cool that they have so many different guns to choose from, and that all the ARs feel like ARs, all the SMGs feel like SMGs, the DMRs feel like DMRs, the snipers feel like snipers, and you don't have to learn different things for each gun, but you do, the ARs perform like ARs and the SMGs perform like SMGs and so on and so forth. And so I think that they've done a really good job with that. So this is kind of like 2 points in one. The amount of guns that they have, I think, is really cool. They have some of my favorite guns in there. The AK-5C, the ACR has always been a cool gun to me. The Scar H, really cool gun. But the gunplay really works well, too, within all of these guns. And I think that there's some changes that need to happen, but overall I think it's really cool that they've got these really good looking gun models and all these different sights and all these different attachments that you can do. They've really done a good job with that, I think. There's a lot of destruction in the game, and it's really funny to me that they've nailed destruction better than Battlefield has in the last 2 games. You can take whole ass buildings down in this game, and that creates a whole new sightline for your team or the enemy team even. It helps play into how the game evolves as you're going through each match, and I think that they've done a really, really good job with destruction. I mean, they've really nailed it, in my opinion. I think that the reporting system works really well. The fact that they kind of name and shame people for what they've done, and whether it's spamming, racism, discrimination, cheating is the biggest one. It really helps people see that they're actually doing something. I remember that Battlefield would have that message that would come up that said "Fair Fight banned someone," and that's cool to see that, but this actually shows you, like, oh, this person, there's been a few people that I've recognized their names that I suspected were cheating that actually did get banned for cheating. So I think it worked pretty cool, and I think that's a really good way to go about it, to be honest. I think that naming and shaming people who cheat is important, because then they can't continuously get away with it. It seems that the reporting system works well enough to know when someone is actually cheating and when somebody is not. I was reported just the other day because I killed a guy once and I hurt his ego because of whatever reason, and he reported me and then had a few other people report me, and so now people will report me because if I kill them in some way that they feel is unfair, they see that I already have reports. But I haven't been banned, and I don't think that I will be because I'm not cheating. It's just 20 years of experience playing games is a lot, you know? So I'm not sure. I think sometimes people just get frustrated, and I don't blame them for that. But it's very clear when somebody is actually cheating. So I think that they've done a really good job with that. I think it's great, all the different game modes that they have, and I think that that's important to have different game modes. There's not a whole lot to say because they're pretty much the same game modes that you find in most games, conquest, domination, things like that. But I think that they've executed it really well. So yeah. The other thing is the bad. From my perspective, the first thing that I want to bring up is that there's no anti-air, so when somebody's in a helicopter, you have no real chance of shooting them down unless your team works together to shoot it down with regular guns. But I do think that there should be at least something like an igla or something that will lock onto a helicopter and bring it down. I think that that is something that needs to change. So I think that there needs to be some countermeasures to air vehicles. There is for land vehicles, so why isn't there for air vehicles? I think that the reloads take a little bit too much time sometimes. I find myself trying to shoot people after I've reloaded and I should be able to shoot already, but it just doesn't because the animation wasn't done. So I don't know if that's something that is really like, oh my god, like this needs to be fixed right away, rather than maybe just more of a minor inconvenience and everything, and maybe muscle memory will kick in at some point of playing it more, but I think that that's kind of something that's a little annoying for some people. The next thing is one of the more important things is the leaning mechanic in any game always brings people who abuse it, and I think that it's something that needs to be looked into, maybe adding like an invisible stamina bar like they do in Battlefield, for instance, for crouching, so you can't crouch spam too much, because there are people who are very clearly using macros in order to abuse the mechanic. So I think that anything that manipulates hitboxes like that should be refined a little bit more. They may do something about that, they may not. Most people probably don't care and probably think I'm being a crybaby about that, but I do think it's something that needs to be looked at because it happens in every game that allows you to lean. They can do things to kind of remedy it, maybe not let you lean as quickly. I think that would be a really good way to fix it. Just don't let people go from one side to the next in a matter of like half a second, you know? The next thing that I think is really kind of annoying is the armor is a little weird to me. The fact that there is armor in the game doesn't bother me, but the fact that a sniper rifle will not kill to the head in one shot because somebody's wearing a helmet is a little weird. It was brought to my attention earlier today that if you use the long barrel, it will, but I don't feel like you should have to use a specific attachment in order to get a one shot to the head with a sniper rifle. So hopefully that's something that they'll look into. I don't think that it should be a thing that's the case. Against an AR or something like that, fine, whatever. But not a sniper rifle, because you could go and shoot at somebody and you're already being kind of punished by having to rebolt and all that stuff with a very powerful weapon, sure, but and allowing somebody to get away that you've hit in the head just feels weird to me, and maybe that's what they want, I don't know, but I think it's something that they may look into. Who knows? The other thing, and probably the most big thing in my complaint list, is that there are the meta weapons. Every game has them, but the issue is that I don't understand why you have so many guns in your game and you spent all of this time to have everybody use 1 to 3 different guns. Either the Vector, or a lot of the SMGs really, for sure, or the M4 or the AK-15. Like, those are the guns that I get killed by the most. And it's like every other gun doesn't really stand a chance against either of them. And I'm not saying that they're not good guns. I understand how DPS works, as I've mentioned in past videos. But, you know, these guns have high rate of fire, but it's going to fall victim to I put on all this work for having like 35 guns in this game, but people only use 1. So what was the point in putting in all these other guns? You should just make the game have 1 AR, 1 SMG, 1 sniper rifle, and 1 LMG. Why not? You know, if that's going to be the case, if that's how it's going to be. But I do believe that they probably will nerf the Vector and all of the SMGs, because I have been killed by SMGs at ranges that they should not have killed me when I shot at them first with an AR. But that's really my biggest complaint. So, you know, overall, the other things that I found in the game were very minor things, like the bandaging system is a little weird. I've only seen that in, like, more realistic games, I guess, like Squad or Project Reality or Rising Storm, Red Orchestra, stuff like that. So that was a little weird to get used to, because it does take you out of the game for a little while, and somebody can push you and you're caught with your pants down because you got a bandage. It's a little annoying. But other than that, I really do think that they've gone in a great direction with the game, and I am really excited to see where it goes. And I have these stream highlights that I'd like to upload, so I'm going to be uploading those in the next few days. But I do hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope that you are having a great day. If it's something that you enjoyed, please do leave a like, consider subscribing. It really helps out my channel. You know, I'm really having fun with Battlebit, so I don't want to end this on a thing that the things that I've highlighted as kind of complaints, I guess, is a bad thing. It's just more that things that I think that should be looked into. But overall, the experience is a lot of fun, and I've been having a ton of fun, and so has my friend. We've been putting a lot of hours into it, so I'm really grateful that there's a fun game to play. Anyway, I will talk to you guys in another video at a later time, and I hope that you all have a great day, and thank you for watching. I really appreciate it.